Hey, good morning, my friends. How are you? Guess I better turn a light on and get some light here in the studio. How are you this morning? Appreciate you joining me on this edition of Wednesday Night Live here from behind the mic. Behind the mic here from the Outdoor Magazine radio studio. Behind the mic is something I do in the morning, Wednesday mornings. And Wednesday Night Live is something I do Wednesday nights from my studio home at home. By the way, Amy Trotter, executive director of MUCC, will be joining me tonight on Wednesday Night Live. That's one of our more popular segments, and I hope you can join me as well. Amy is always a wealth of information. Who's along with us this morning? Johnny Bowler. Good morning, Johnny. I was just talking to Ross about setting up that date to go fishing. Tommy, good morning. How are you? Hey, Craig. We need to set up a date on the calendar for a fishing trip as well. Bruce, good morning. Mark, good morning. How are you? Appreciate you joining us. Cliff, good morning. Mad Jack over on YouTube. Uncle Johnny, how are you, buddy? We've got a group of our friends on here this morning, and I do appreciate it. Randy, how are you? Thanks for joining me on Behind the Mic here from the Outdoor Magazine radio studio, here to record this week's Outdoor Magazine radio show. And I will tell you who's coming up on the show here in just a little bit. Jason, good morning, buddy. My fellow Trinity brother, how are you? Johnny Bowler says, good morning, Uncle Johnny. We got two Johnnies on here, Johnny Bowler, Uncle Johnny, two good guys. I'd like to think that everybody who joins me here on my live streams is a good person, right? You're here because you have an interest in the outdoors. And I think that kind of binds us together in some ways, including this guy right here, the most interesting man in Michigan, Bill Hoffman, from the banks of the Flint River. Are you working? I got a feeling you're working, not playing. Anyway, Bill, good morning. How are you? You're working. That's what I figured. Yeah, Craig. We actually, on a crawler, we actually had a big pike on yesterday morning too. Lost him. I fished with my son, James, and we wanted to go out to a spot about 4 or 5 miles offshore, but the wind just did not let us. So we stayed in tight in the skinny water, and we got some fish. Good morning, Sherry. Always a pleasure to have you checking in from Poseyville. Jim Ward, good morning. How are you, Paul? Appreciate you joining me this morning. And Kevin's along with us too. Hey, Kevin. So, as I am here in the studio right now, it's still the month of May. The show that I am recording here in a few minutes is for the month of June. Don't ask me how it got to be June already. Got any good source of waxworms? Anybody help out Bill Hoffman? Some waxworms. He's looking for waxworms. Mark is headed up to White River this weekend. Excellent, Mark. Have fun. I won't be going to White River until mid-August. I went up there last year in the springtime because my daughter Shelby was getting married at the end of summer, and I couldn't be gone then. Now I can be gone. Corey, good morning. How are you doing, buddy? Hey, Steve. I figured out which boat is yours. Nice rig. We got out yesterday morning, my son James and I, and it was an interesting story because if you would have looked at the weather forecast, and I always say don't cancel a trip based on the weather forecast. The weather forecast looks like there's no way in the world we'd get on the water. I got over to the marina. I looked at the trees, and they're not blowing. I said, James, let's go. So he jumped in his truck, came over, and we did make it out. We couldn't go out real deep because we would have got the snot pounded out of us, even on the Angler Quest. But we fished in close, and we got some fish, and we lost some fish, and we had a wonderful morning. Wonderful, a couple hours. Ron checking in from Roscommon. Good morning, Ron. Hello, how are you? Hello, Mike Streeter. Guy I've known probably anybody longer than anybody here on this page. I'll guarantee it. Zach said he got a few steelhead the other week in the UP, but the bugs were terrible. Good morning, Danny. How are you? Danny Johnson, Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. Craig Plowman, Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. Look at this mug, Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. It's one of the few Yetis I will drink out of because I think Yetis are overpriced. Hello, Joel. Gene, the tubes you put on my Angler Quest are working just fine, buddy. Thank you very much. Yeah, Corey, we did get some nice fish. In fact, I don't think we caught any trash fish, and we didn't catch any small fish. Every fish we caught was a keeper walleye, decent walleye. We did lose one nice pike. Hey, Tim, good morning. How are you? Rick is watching from the fire station this morning. Rick, appreciate that. Keeping people safe. That's nice. God bless you. Same thing with you, Bill Hoffman. God bless you for protecting our citizens. I have a special place in my heart for cops, firemen, paramedics, first responders in general. My dad was a cop for 35 years. And so I grew up with that mindset. I have much respect, much respect. Hey, Michael, good morning. Ed Bolanowski, how you doing, buddy? Ron St. Louis, right there. Ron St. Louis, the man from Northern Wilderness Bear Outfitters, was on the show with me here. What was it, last week? I will be going up to White River in mid-August. I forgot to reserve a hotel room, but I called up there and the Continental had a room for me. So, Ron, how did your hunt go last week? Right? Last weekend? Or are you hunting right now? And how did it go, Ron? Ron St. Louis, Northern Wilderness Bear Outfitters, northernwildernessbearoutfitters.com. If you're looking for a quality operation north of the bridge, north of the border, Ron's your guy. Erica checking in from the Thumb. John from St. Louis. Appreciate that, Gene. Good morning, Brad. Brian, how are you? Looks like I got some sun. Yeah, by the end of the summer, I will look like somebody with a different ethnicity. Hello, Jay. He's leaving for Canada as well for a week to relax and catch a bunch of fish. Good for you. It starts this Saturday. Thank you, Ron. It starts this Saturday. So Ontario has reinstituted a few years ago now their spring bear season. They didn't have it for a while. Corey, I didn't see that. Ron says the baits are getting hit hard. One of the things about Ron's operation, this guy right here, Ron St. Louis, is he works hard behind the scenes, him and his boys. Before the season starts, they start baiting. They bait hard. They bait consistently. So the bears get accustomed to coming into these baits. And it's not so much of a factor from what I've seen in the springtime, but certainly you get into the fall hunt or the August hunt. If you get a good berry crop, the bears have a lot of natural food to take them away from the baits. Well, Ron and the guys have them accustomed to, patterned to coming into those baits. And so it's a good operation. Corey, I'll check. No, I didn't see it, but I will look at it. I want to see that. You were on Michigan Outdoors last week, right? I will definitely check that, Corey. I'd like to see that. Michigan Outdoors, good people. Corey, you're a good person too. So, yeah. Okay, so what are we talking about? Bill is going to Canada too. So 3 of the people on here this morning are heading north of the border, coming up here. Have fun. Good luck. Safe travels. Catch a lot of fish. Take your Thermacell. Take your Thermacell. Take your Thermacell. Or in the UP right now, take your Thermacell. 4. And I don't know about deer hunting so much, but turkey hunting or bear hunting, birds and bears could care less about Thermacell. I've seen bears walk through a blue cloud of Thermacell smoke coming out of a blind. It doesn't bother them in the least. Thank you, Jim, for that reminder. It's on my list here. Only a few days left to apply for your Michigan Bear and Elk tag. Good morning, sunshine. Right back at you, Jed. Tommy's going to Rapid River Knives. Well, if you're going to Rapid River, you might want to think about picking up one of these Yoopers, one of these Yooper knives, one of these folders, very versatile knife, lifetime guarantee, rapidriverknifeworks.us. If you go to that website, rapidriverknifeworks.us, and use the promo code Avery10. You'll save 10% off on your order. Or Tommy, as you are going to the shop, tell them you'd like to use the promo code in the shop, and you can save 10% there as well. Get your knife engraved for free. Johnny says you will kill a Michigan black bear this fall because Johnny has him tied to a tree. Well, Johnny, let him roam a little bit. I want him to eat so he can get a little bit bigger. If you tie him to a tree, he's going to starve. Good morning, Jay. It isn't, and this is their most popular knife right here. This is a pretty standard knife. This is a production model. It's maple and antler. Maple and antler. I have a woolly mammoth version of this that's actually going back to the shop to get a little repair done. And that's the thing about Rapid River knives. You buy one, you're buying it for life because they will repair and warranty and fix these things and sharpen them and clean them up for life. How cool is that? Michigan-based, family owned. Rick said he just ordered his son a Rapid River knife for completing his hunter safety. I hope you use the promo code. Josh Mapes, how are you this morning? Morning, Mark. Well, he's going to get all the food he needs. Johnny Bowler and Ron St. Louis, you guys should meet sometime. I think I would just sit back and listen because you'd have a pretty cool conversation. Okay, Jim, wish me luck. I got an invite to hunt private land in Red Oak. Hopefully with 11 points, I'll get a tag. I hope you do as well, Jim. I hope you do as well. In a few minutes here, when I start to record the show, if you decide to stick around, you'll hear me talk about a couple of things, including, well, it's the month of June, and you missed your opportunity to apply for a Michigan Bear or elk tag. Keep in mind, I'm doing some time shifting. The show that I'm going to record here is for this weekend, which is June. Morning, Robert. Bear outside of Frankfurt. Please do, Josh. Please do. Matt, good morning. How are you? Gigi. Good morning, Gigi. Captain Mark Bonanzak. Where'd you go? Golf partner Scott Keatsman, Mike Hampton. I talked to Mike the other night at a softball game. All right, Johnny. Have a good day, buddy. All right. Speaking of this golf outing, several of you here are playing in that outing, and I appreciate it. It is Monday, July 29th at the West Branch Country Club. This is the first of what I suspect will be an annual event. This one is a fundraiser for MUCC's youth camp. So we get a chance to get together, smoke some cigars. You can drink a beer if you want, play some golf, and raise money. How do you get involved in either as a player or a sponsor? You go to the website, mucc.org/golf, mucc.org/golf. We've got some great companies helping us out already. Security Credit Union has come on board. Yider Insurance has come on board. Linwood Taxidermy has come on board. Craig Plowman came on board, sponsors as just an individual, him and Michelle. How cool is that? And a lot more in the works. So if you want to help us out, have some fun, go to mucc.org/golf. There's Scott right there of Linwood Taxidermy. Randy, good morning. How are you? Matt, recovering from fishing the NWT at Red Wing, Minnesota, and getting ready for the next one on Green Bay. You're a glutton for punishment, eh, Matt? How did you do? Well, never mind that. Did you have fun? Brent James, good morning, buddy. How are you? All right, so I'm here in the Outdoor Magazine radio studio to record this week's show. Would you like to know, before anybody else in the world knows, would you like to know who's on the show this week? Even if you don't want to know, I'm going to tell you. In my cigar-stained hands, my first guest this week is Captain John Littlefield, maritime training, Premier Maritime Training. He's the charter captain who got me my license. He taught my class. Mark, I know you know him, Mark Bonanzak. 13th for Angler of the Year. Wow. I'm going to talk to John about the process of getting your captain's license, also about fishing. He's a hardcore fisherman too. Then we're going to try again to get Ed Roy from the Michigan Wildlife Council. We tried to get him last week. There was some kind of a technical problem. So we're following up to talk to Ed this week. In our second hour, we're going to talk about smallmouth fishing in the Keweenaw. Now, that's kind of a niche topic, isn't it? But anything from the Keweenaw is a worthwhile topic because it's one of the coolest places in this state, in my opinion. With Connor Backus. Then Steve Wyndham of MUCC joins me. I suspect we will talk about the golf outing and more. This week's Ask Avery question is a question that I asked Mark Romanak about line diameter and trolling curves, and we'll leave it at that. And then in our third hour, Gary Morgan of Wild Game Dynasty, he's a hunting guide. We'll talk about how his turkey season ended up, also getting ready for the Michigan bear season. And then we'll wrap it all up with Wild Game Chef Extraordinaire, Dixie Dave Miner. 13th for Angler of the Year. Good for you, Rico. Rico, how have you been, buddy? I haven't seen many pictures from you, Rico. You've been working too hard to go fishing, or are you just hiding your fishing now? Anyway, I love those pictures. I love pictures. Hey, Angie. I love pictures. Say hi to Gus for me. I love urban fisheries. And in Michigan, compare this. Connor Backus fishing the wilderness of the Keweenaw for smallmouth versus some of our downstate urban fisheries, world-class fisheries. Think of this. Detroit River. It doesn't get any more urban than that. World-class fishery. Saginaw Bay, Lake St. Clair, Muskegon River to some extent, St. Joe River. We've got some great urban fisheries. Saginaw River. It is Matt Laban. Matt Laban. Is Charlie gone?
He'll be back.
He will. Okay. Do you see I brought some little treats over there for you? Justin Tomei. Time to go fishing. That's funny. What did I say about time to go fishing? Hey, Justin, how are you? Justin Tomei of MUCC. Again, mucc.org/golf. mucc.org/golf to sign up to play and or sponsor our event that will benefit. Proceeds will go to MUCC's youth camp. Monday, July 29th at the West Branch Country Club. mucc.org/golf. Been good, busy with kids and softball and stuff. I get it, Rico. I get it. Flint River, too. Thank you, Tim. Yeah. We've got some great urban fisheries in our state. Absolutely great.
3 minutes.
3 minutes, Jonathan says. Okay, so to follow up on what Captain Jim says, a few more days to apply for your Michigan bear or elk tag. A few more days to get your turkey. And again, when I go to record this first segment of the show, I will talk about as like it's in past tense because the show will air in June. Fawns. Have you seen any fawns yet? I had a real cool video a guy sent me yesterday of a doe giving birth to a fawn. I'm going to post that later today. Very cool. I mentioned the golf outing. Fishing. So yesterday I did get out with my son James. It was number 7 flicker minnows, 25 feet behind the offshore boards. We ran different leads. We tried different lengths, and 25 feet was the length. 25 feet is pretty shallow. That's pretty shallow running bait. It was a purple, it looked like a purple perch pattern. I don't remember the real name of it. I posted a picture on my Facebook page. You can see that bait, and it was hot. Mark says he's got to go. Going to play golf. Excellent, Mark. Have fun, buddy. And I look forward to seeing you at our golf outing in West Branch on the 29th, and have fun up in White River. Say hi to everybody up there for me. Rick, was that the one about being safe on the water? Good morning, Patrick. No fawns here yet, just yotes, huh? I think this is the one. Rick sent me an email yesterday, and Rick, I was pretty tied up yesterday. I glanced at it, but didn't get a chance to think much about it. But yes, sir. Okay. Rick is involved. He's a first responder, and he's involved in some situations where people lost their lives on the water. Real quick comment on this. when we go out on the water, whether it's fishing, boating, sailing, whatever, just swimming, we go to have fun. Sometimes when you go out to do things to have fun, you let your guard down and you forget about the things that are important, like staying safe and doing the right things and doing smart things and wearing the right gear and the right precautions. So, what a shame, what a tragedy. I've seen this too many times. People who lost their lives doing something that was designed to be fun. So please keep that in mind so guys like Rick don't have to get involved. 30 seconds. Hey, Doug, how are you? All right, my friends, I got to go to work here. And I know you can't really call it work, right? 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off. You know how I know it's blast off? Because I can hear it right here.
Time now for Michigan's
See? That's what I'm listening to. Time now for Michigan's #1 outdoor radio show. And you might say, well, how many are there? Well, there are more than one. So I just bragging a little bit. Excellent, Doug. I saw it. Yeah, he sent me a picture. Excellent. All right, my friends, have a great day. I will be back tonight at 7 o'clock for another edition of Wednesday Night Live. Amy Trotter of MUCC will join me. Hope you can too. Well, thank you, Ken Hunter, for that introduction, and welcome to another edition of the Outdoor Magazine radio show right here on the Outdoor Magazine radio network on more than 30 radio stations across the great state of Michigan. And so glad to have you along with us as we jump into another month, the month of June. Again, how did it get to be June? It's Avery, you're sounding like a broken record. I know, but time is just flying by so fast. And because it does that, I think that we should remember to just step back and take a deep breath and look around and enjoy and take advantage in a positive way. And just get outside, get on the water, get in the woods, get in the fields, and relax and have some fun and take advantage of what our state has to offer. This is the time of year. Make those memories. Make those memories not just for yourself, but for your family, your friends, your kids, your grandkids, your coworkers. Take somebody out in the water who's never been out there before. I have never, ever taken anybody out on the Angler Quest walleye fishing on Saginaw Bay and had them go, yeah, that's not really, I didn't like it. Never. Everybody I have ever taken out, now they may never fish again, but they have that experience of being out there and they think it was wonderful. The more people we can expose to our outdoor lifestyle, whether it's fishing or hunting or whatever outdoor related, shooting, camping, trapping, whatever it is, the better for us. Even if they are not lifelong participants. I say this about the youth hunt all the time. Even if those kids in the youth hunt never hunt again, if we give somebody one good quality outdoor experience, they will more than likely enjoy it. And when it comes time to vote on such issues, they will keep us in mind and maybe even have that frame of reference. Oh yeah, I hunted once and it was a lot of fun. I'm gonna vote yes. I'm gonna vote for pro hunting legislation. I'm gonna vote for pro fishing, pro hunting activities. We need as many people as we can on our side these days. Anyway, hey, okay, so it's June now, right? As you're hearing this show. Did you remember to apply for your Michigan bear or elk tag? Be honest with me now. Or did you forget? Was it one of those things where you said, I'm going to do that. It's on my calendar. It's on my list. And you never got to it. And now it's too late. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you because I've done the same thing. I didn't this year. I did apply for my Michigan bear and elk tag. I will hopefully get my Michigan bear tag. I will not get my Michigan elk tag. I know that. I know it. It's just the way it is. Okay. Also, did you get your turkey? Turkey season finally open now, closed now after starting, the end of April. That's a long season, isn't it? If you didn't, there's always the fall season and there's always next year, right? There's always, well, we hope there's always next year. Have you seen any fawns yet? This is the time of year when the white-tailed does are dropping fawns. I had a very interesting video sent to me by a guy of a fawn being born. I actually posted it on my Facebook page. Pretty cool glimpse at Mother Nature. Very cool. All right, so I have been fishing. Mother Nature has not cooperated with the fishing. It's been pretty windy. In fact, if you'll remember, if you've been here before, one of the things I always say is never cancel a hunting or fishing trip based on a weather forecast because things can change. Well, we had a kind of a related experience here last week. My son James and I were going to go fishing, and I left the house real early because I wanted to get over to the boat and get some rods and stuff and, you know, get her all set up. And he texted me and said, "Hey, look at this." And he texted me a wind report from the buoy out there on Saginaw Bay that looked like it was a full-blown hurricane. I mean, I'm exaggerating intentionally. He said, "There's no way we're fishing today." I went, darn it, I really wanted to get out. But listen, I'm halfway there. I'm just going to continue on. I'll let you know what it looks like when I get over there. So I get to the marina and it's dead calm. The trees aren't moving at all. So I texted him back and said, "It's pretty nice here. I'm going fishing." He said, "Well, wait for me. I'm going too." Now, about the time he got halfway over, the wind did start to pick up and it blew pretty good. We had wanted to go offshore about 4 or 5 miles to a spot. We got some fish last week into a spot one of his buddies has been doing real good at. But there was just no way, even in that big angler quest, there was no way we were going to get out there. I mean, we could have gotten out there, right? I'm not saying we would have sunk the boat, but we would have been beat up pretty good. We would have earned every fish we got out there. And to be honest with you, I don't find it enjoyable to fish when it's that rough. I guess it's because I'm lucky enough that I can kind of pick and choose my days. And if it's blowing hard, I just usually won't go unless I've got a trip of people who are coming in from, you know, way out of town. And this is their only window of opportunity. I may try to get out there and find them some kind of protected water. But in general, I'm not interested in fishing when it's rough. It's just not as enjoyable. So we couldn't go out to that spot where we wanted to, but the Skinny Water had fish in it. It did have fish in it. I mean, it wasn't a bad day. It wasn't a bad day at all. Number 7 flicker minnows were the hot bait on that day, as they often are on Saginaw Bay these days. I'm going to call it a purple perch pattern. I don't know the real name for it, but it looks like a perch with purple on it. And boy, we only had 2 of those baits down and they kept getting hit. And if we would have had 6 of them, we would have put 6 down. 25 feet behind the boards, even out in 14, 16 feet of water, 25 feet behind the boards, up in 7 feet of water, 25 feet behind the boards. We ran different lead lengths, 25, we ran about to 60, but 25 feet behind the boards. It was just a good day. He had cajoled me into respooling all my reels. And actually I needed to. I tend to be probably more lax than I should about changing out line, changing out hooks, changing out snaps and swivels and all that kind of stuff. And sometimes I pay for it by losing a fish or losing a board or whatever. But put all new line on. Oh, and by the way, this week's Ask Avery question coming up at the end of the second hour deals with that topic. It's a question that I actually posed to Mark Romanak of Precision Angling and Precision Trolling, Fishing 411, about the line diameter and how that affects the depth of your baits. He's got a dive curve out there based on 10-pound tests. So I wanted to find out what the details were on that. So that's coming up at the end of the second hour. Don't forget about our golf outing coming up. Not that far away now. It's Monday, July 29th at the West Branch Country Club. This is an outing to raise money for MUCC's youth camp. Sign up is going very well. Sponsorships are coming in. Thank you for that. But if you want to be involved, we still have room and we will find a place for you. Go to the website, mucc.org/golf. All money raised will go to MUCC's youth camp. And that's a camp designed to get kids involved in the outdoors. If there's, it jibes so wonderfully with everything that this show and everything I'm involved in is all about, is promoting the outdoors, getting people involved in the outdoors, showing people how much fun the outdoors can be. Well, MUCC's youth camp does that sometimes to kids who have never had that experience before. So if you would like to get involved as a player or a sponsor, go to mucc.org/golf, mucc.org/golf. So far, Security Credit Union, Yider Insurance, Linwood Taxidermy, my buddy Craig Plowman, they've all come on as sponsors. There are many more that I'm not aware of yet because I'm not involved in that end of it directly. But as I find out, I will pass those names along as a thank you to those people. Who's coming up on the show this week after the break? Captain John Littlefield of Premier Maritime Training. He's the guy who helped me get my captain's license. We'll talk about that process, plus fishing. He's a hardcore angler. Then we're going to try once again to get in touch with Ed Roy of the Michigan Wildlife Council. We tried last week. We had a technical problem, couldn't reach him. We're going to try again. In our second hour, we're going to the Keweenaw, fishing for smallmouth with Connor Backus. Now, I first learned about Connor last week on the show from John Cleveland of Eppinger Lures. He said, listen, I had a chance to fish with Connor. He's the real deal. I think he'd make a great radio interview. So guess what? We're going to do just that. Then Steve Wyndham of MUCC follows up, and then the Ask Avery segment I was just talking about. And in our third hour, hunting guide Gary Morgan of Wild Game Dynasty. He's a turkey hunting guide. He's a bear hunting guide. I think he's an elk hunting guide. We'll talk about that whole process, what you should expect from a guide. We'll talk about bear hunting here in Michigan because we're going to find out here in just a few weeks if we got our bear tags or not. And then we'll wrap it all up with wild game chef extraordinaire, Dixie Dave Miner. My name is Mike Avery. This show is called Outdoor Magazine. My website is MikeAveryOutdoors.com, MikeAveryOutdoors.com. My email address is Mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com. Don't hesitate to reach out. I would love to hear from you. Let me know what's on your mind. Send me your pictures, your videos. If there's a kid in the picture, use the hashtag #ForwardFuelsTradition, and you could win a gift certificate to the Forward convenience stores. We'll take a break. Lots more coming up here in the next 3 hours on Outdoor Magazine. All right, let me go back to some of my comments. The Slick Purple Bengal. Slick Purple Bengal. Well, when I went to Jay's yesterday, Mike, I bought a few of those and that other one. Okay. All right, my friends, I'm going to go. Brandon, thank you for that. Have a good day, my friends. I got to go. We'll talk to you tonight, 7 o'clock, Wednesday Night Live. Amy Trotter.